Hey guys, so that was April. As as a much of a bumpy ride as it was for me, I hope it went okay for you. But a lot of stuff happened that was really positive. I'm monetized. You probably saw that now. And a quick note, again, the goal was to get monetized to help the algorithm, or rather, I should say, help YouTube decide that my videos were worth fitting into the algorithm because they like making money. I have made a whopping $7, which is actually a lot more than what I thought. I think I said I was going to make a whole 4 cents. Couple quick notes about that. I can control where the ads go into each video, so I have them all set to the beginning and the end. There should be no mid-roll ads at all because I can't stand them. If an audio does have mid-roll ads, let me know because it shouldn't be happening. But yeah, we went past 1K subscribers, which was I'm still in awe about that. I'm in shock that we're already up to 1,300 in the time it took me to gather up the questions for the 1K celebration, which is happening right after I get over this stuff. We're gonna be on track to be maybe at 1,500 by the end of May, maybe even at 2,000 if I'm lucky, but that all depends on what goes on next. So here's hoping, because I like channel growth, but really I'm just happy that people can hear my work and they really appreciate it, and I appreciate all of you guys. I don't know if that comes through or not. I try to make it blatantly apparent in every comment I make and every reply that I really am happy that all of you guys are here. It means quite a bit to me. Anyway, so let's talk about next month. I don't have a calendar ready to show you, so you're gonna hear me click off of this and click onto one that I can see. So today, what is the Sunday the 2nd? So you'll get improvs on the 3rd, the 10th, the 17th, the 24th, and the 31st. So you'll get 5 this month. You'll get scripted audios on 5, 12, 19, and the 26th. Which, by the way, if you guys want to send scripts that you happen to see, don't hesitate. I mean, some of them I can't do. Some of them get a little bit too not safe for work for me to do, and my threshold's a little bit low by comparison to a lot of other artists. But I'm willing to read and look into any of them. And then on Fridays, you're going to get the revival on the 7th, which shortly after I record and edit and post this audio or this video, you'll... Wow, Ed, come on now. It's very early in the morning, and I am a not very smart Ed. That's okay. I like me just as I am, even if I'm not so smart. So I'll post the poll on YouTube this time. And probably for the foreseeable future, the polls will be on my community page. Anyway, so you'll get your revival on the 7th. The 14th, you're going to get Vera Chapter 3, which we should be excited about because that's going to be a collab. The 21st, you'll get Chapter 11 of the Amulet series. And the 28th, you will get the next chapter of Sundoku Ryu. So that is basically what's happening to the month of May. So, let me close this out. And then, oh goodness, where did I put it? Give me just a second. I got it. It's somewhere here. Just hang on, guys. And do the forms.google. Let's see. So if you're new here, every month I do an update, but because I had 1,000 subscribers last month, I decided to do a Q&A, or what I said was ask Ed almost anything. And I got 8 responses, and I'll be happy to answer questions from all of them. They're not going to be in any particular order, because I know somebody. I didn't want to look at the questions too much because I didn't want to have like pre-planned responses and just sound like a machine. Because I definitely can do that. I'm shocked I didn't use that for No Name for Joyride, right? As I used to work in customer service, and whenever we had a problem getting a check through, they would have me call the telecheck, because I would talk like this, just like the machine would talk to me, and it would be fantastic, because the machine understood this voice perfectly. Thank you. So, let's see, questions? No, sorry. Okay, so, why does it not give me the responses individually? Oh, goodness. Oh, here we go, individual. Yes, here we go. Okay, so the first question is from my liege. Yes, my liege, I'm happy to serve you. Oh, geez, I hit my lamp. That's that's a big thing that you should know. I talk with my hands a lot, so when I'm recording, I pantomime stuff out, and there are so many oops, I smacked the mic. I should probably make a gag reel of that. Like, I don't really do outtakes. When I screw up, I normally just stop and then take a breath and then go. But there's so many times where I'll go and then I have to stop. You could just, I don't know if like, if I turned it down, maybe that would be funny. I don't know. I really like to do an outtake reel because I want to give you guys something for everything that you guys been going through with me, but I don't know what. So, anyways, my liege, how might I answer your question? Your question is, I see that you did art speed paint. Would you ever do a voiceover where you're just rambling over anything over your speed paint? My liege, I yearn to do that. There are so many of my audios that I've wanted to do a speed paint for, and even with these updates, I would love to do it. I want to get back to that. My problem right now is time. When I'm not doing this and I'm not doing my job, I also have to be a full-time parent, and I get plenty of time to draw, but I never get time to really sit down and work on it digitally. I work kind of mixed media. I draw in a sketch pad and then scan it into Clip Studio Paint, and I draw from there. Or if you look at my oldest videos, which are all speed paints, you'll see that that's through Open Canvas, but I can't seem to get Open Canvas to work on my computer anymore. And I'm not sure why. It just doesn't seem to like my digital canvas, which is I have one of those screens you can draw on. Yeah, but I would love to. And so to answer your question, my liege, as soon as I have time, I will be thrilled to make speed paints. In fact, I wanted to make all of the Sundoku Ryu series, a selection of speed paints, and then the idea was when I got enough people to get a when I get enough subs to get a merch shelf, which is I think at 10K, I was going to make prints of each of the chapters of Sundoku Ryu. I may still do that with the Amulet series, since that seems to be far more popular. When I started this, I really thought that the Amulet series was going to be the underdog, and that that Sundoku Ryu was going to be the headlining character. I did not realize that was not going to be the case. So maybe I'll have to just switch gears. But thank you so much for being a listener, my liege, and I'm so thrilled that you're here. So, number 2. Oh, it's Floof. Floof. If you don't know who Floof is amazing. Get to know Floof. They are a wonderful person. And Floof asked me... Oh, Floof. Loof asked me, little spoon or big spoon? I don't think I fit in the little spoon. So it's either big spoon or jetpacking. And the answer is yes. I will take any kind of cuddle as long as it's platonic. That's the important rule. Well, see, Floof, you made your question super short. Now I feel like I spent all this time with my liege because they had a big question and you had a small one. Okay, but get to know Floof. Floof is great. They are a wonderful person. So let me go and check the next question. So now we have Just a Person. Hello, Just a Person. I think we've spoken before. I think on Discord. So their question is, which part of the process do you look forward to when creating the audio? That's a good question. Because I like each part of the process quite a bit, actually. I know that the least favorite part, so we'll kind of go this in ascending order. The least favorite part is staring at the record button, trying to calm down, because I get nerves every single time I get ready to record. It's not like, it's not debilitating nerves, but it's like oh god, I'm really gonna do this? Is this just gonna come out to be cringe? And then I decide that all of it's cringe, and I just hit record anyway. And depending upon the audio, like I get super psyched when I find a really great script and reading through it. And I don't really do a lot of rehearsing. I find that when I rehearse, I tend to make more mistakes. So I kind of let myself just kind of read through it once, so I have an idea what's about to be said, and then I do as close to a cold read as possible. But I get super excited for that. I can tell you on audios like, the Goblin, and Sundoku Ryu, both as series, like the best part is the preparation and bouncing ideas off of friends. And that, because that's 90% of the Goblin is just me like finding out what horribly offensive thing I can make hilarious. I think the only one I really didn't bounce off of anybody was Tooth Goblin, because I didn't know how funny it would be until that rolled up. Like I have a Tooth Goblin the Goblin himself came about from I have an app on my phone that does improv, and it just takes words and puts them together and goes, there you go, there's your, that's your scene acted. And out came at one point Tooth Fairy Goblin, or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it said, but I just had this weird, image in my mind of a 1 foot tall goblin with big hands and big feet that's obsessed with teeth, and out he came. But for most of it, I think maybe the best part would be like the preparation. Like when I get an idea down that I really like Vera, I was dead set like 4 days in advance that was going to be the next improv that day. And I was almost saying bits and pieces of it in the car, or in the car. I think, well, it was the car at that point, because my truck needed work. But yeah, I was saying it as I was going, and I just knew. I didn't know that it would be popular, but I knew I liked it and I wanted to make it, which is a big thing with me. Every time I make an audio, there's a reason why. Like, I don't just make an audio to make an audio. And you're gonna see that on tomorrow. I've got a special one lined up that is cuddly and comforty and very meta, because of how much parts of my youth that I enjoyed. And I don't know if my audience, if you as my audience will all get it. I mean, that's not like it's some big metaphysical thing. It's just, I don't know with the age group if you'll get what I'm saying, but I think you'll get where I'm coming from. It's certainly not like you guys. It's not above you at all. It's I don't know. It's very niche for me, and I'm betting that in the spirit of it, you guys will get it and you'll enjoy it. And if you don't, then I'll and then I'm sorry up front, but it's I'm really excited for it. But thank you, Just a Person. And thank you for your question, and I'm so glad that you're here. Okay, so next is Oh So Abysmal. Hello, Oh So Abysmal. I think I've seen you a few times and answered your comments. You leave nice comments. And your question is, what kind of audio do you enjoy doing the most? Do you have a favorite type of character to play? I think my favorite audios to listen to are Reverse Comfort and Love Confessions. Those are my favorites. Those have always been my favorites. The ones I enjoy doing the most, I think I enjoy, because I enjoy listening to Reverse Comfort, I like making comfort audio. And that's, I think that's a pretty consistent part for me. And do I have a favorite type of character to play? That's difficult, because I like to push myself and I like to discover what characters I can do. But if there's a character I settle into easily, it's very clearly a almost like a I guess I won't say a healer, because I did Bellarana and I did enjoy that, but I would not use his voice anymore, because that's a difficult voice to do. If you didn't see, there's an audio buried way down near the start of my channel, where I played a high elf, like from the Lord of the Rings, named Bellarana, and he kind of spoke like Vandal, if you know who Vandal is. It was very high, and he was very, very emotive, but everything was really spaced out, and it's very hard to focus on this voice and still say something and know what I'm going to think of next. So I wouldn't use that voice anymore. But I think the characters like Edward from Accidental Meeting, that's a very natural character to me. Caretakers, protective character voices, those are really like I guess would be those would be the most comfortable. I don't know about a favorite. Like as far as a favorite goes, like I mean, I always loved to play Vincent. Um, although he's kind of heck on my throat. Uh, Especially the longer I play him, the more difficult it gets. Which is another reason why I play him in the morning, because it's easier to fall into the lower register of my voice like this and be like, "Hey, bats." um, but yeah, I do love to play protectors and caretakers. I think those would be the closest thing to a favorite I have to play yet. But thank you so much for your question. And I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you so much for listening. So next we have Angel, and Angel asks me, what inspired you to do ASMR? Well, there's a few reasons for that. The one I'll easily talk about is that I saw Cardlin was doing Talktober last year, and somebody who I admire was going to do it, and I thought that it would be supportive to do it too, even though I had no previous experience in acting whatsoever. I mean, outside of, playing and goofing off with my kids, and I used to act in like play a play in high school, but I literally was like one of the mice. I was Gus in Cinderella. And I still liked being Gus. And the about halfway, and I was about halfway through, something really bad happened to me, and I what was worse about it was that I wasn't allowed to show how that affected me, because I had to very quickly put myself together and just move on. And so making audios and putting the emotions I want to feel into the microphone and into the audios, that became my coping mechanism. And so that's another reason why I really appreciate that you guys listen to me. Because it's like I'm being heard. But thank you, Angel. Thank you so much for your question. I'm so glad that you're here. I really am. Okay, let's see. So our next question comes from Sky. And Sky wrote a bunch of questions. So we're gonna say, so the first question they asked was, what got you into ASMR? We just went over that. And then we had, what is your all-time favorite character out of all your series? And then finally, if that was asked, do you write scripts, and are you open to getting scripts sent to you? So we already answered the first one, and the second one, I think I kind of answered before, because that's, I think, my favorite character to voice is Vincent. And then lastly, if you write scripts and if you are open to getting scripts sent to you. And the answer is yes. I do write scripts. I'm not very good at it. It takes me a very long time. I wish I was much faster and better at it for you guys, because I'd love to just pump out work all the time. but I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I don't have a fantastically quick workflow. So those two things really kind of impede. So let's see. So that's yeah. So like I said, thank you, Sky. And I'm so glad that you're here. I thank you so much for being part of the channel, and I hope I can make some more stuff that you'll enjoy. Okay, so now we have Ari. And Ari asked a question about what inspired me to start making audios. I'll tell you what. I'll go a little bit further back. Where I got started, where I first started listening to ASMR audios, and I mean, at least in terms of, you know, the story or emotionally driven ASMR, because I used to watch the triggered stuff, and there's nothing wrong with the trigger stuff. In fact, I still listen to it from time to time when I need to sleep. But I really love the characters and stories that people make. But I think the first one that really got me was from Teacup. And that was, I believe that was called The Queen and Her Protector. And that was, I loved that one. And I know she made a sequel to it, but I think that was purely a Patreon exclusive, which I wasn't part of at the time. But then from Teacup, I found Sweetheart Audio, although they were she was called something else at the time, and I still greatly enjoy her work. She is an amazing artist. And I wrote a script for it. In fact, you can find one of her pieces on my channel. I did a speed paint of it, where I wrote her a script for a Zelda parody, and it was and it has that hits almost all the same notes of everything that I like to make in ASMR now. And I would make her fan art, and I would make her all sorts of stuff, and she constantly encouraged me to, I wouldn't say to make ASMR specifically until I brought it up, but she constantly encouraged my creativity. Like, I don't know if you're aware of it. A couple people are, but this creative wheel in my head is a perpetual motion machine. It never stops. It never stops. Oh God, I'm like the best person to have around for a brainstorming night. Because I will not shut up when it comes to ideas. I'm not so good at everything else. Where you get Family Man. Where he always says, "I'm great at starting things, not so good at finishing them." That is a little teeny piece of me, and there's a tiny piece of me in each of my characters. Yeah. So thank you so much for being a subscriber, Ari, and I hope that in the future I continue to make audios that you enjoy, and I will hope to see you later. And lastly is Lee, and Lee asks, which has been your favorite character or storyline to create? My favorite character to create was actually Ishmael. Vincent was my favorite character to play, but he literally just popped into existence through Talktober. And the same with Lawrence. Lawrence is a close second in that regard. Lawrence is a blast to play. Ishmael was my favorite to create because I loved the idea of a dragon that had no interest in gold and instead loved books and learning, because I have a hard time reading. It's something that I've struggled with my whole life. I've never been a very proficient reader, even though I love books, and I love everything about books. But it's just not been easy. So the idea of this great and giant and powerful being that loves the books, but because of his size, he has a hard time understanding the books and needing somebody to read to him, so that he can fully enjoy them. I was so appealing to me, and I've literally had him for years, just sat on him because I didn't know. I mean, I had people, when I tell people about him in general, at my place of work or relatives, they were like, well, why don't you write a book? Why don't you make a children's book? And I didn't have the problem with my writing would come up, that I would write something and then I wouldn't like it and I'd throw it away, and it would just keep it going, like this cycle of create, destroy, create. And it just became too much to keep going. And then one day I just thought, well, I said, I can seem to make these audios and they come out, I'll just make him. And there he was. And I love that character. I love making stuff with Ishmael. I love the goofy things that people put down in Reddit when he was in the doctor's office. When he's like, oh my god, there's a fish. You know, like, are you the dragon of fish? What secrets do you hold, fish? Tell me. I love that he's so innocent. So like, he's still this giant worldly being, and the second he turns into a human, he's like a toddler, you know, where everything is new and wonderful and fantastic. I think I described him to somebody the other day. I think it was the Floof, that Ishmael is like love, you know. He's everything's new and shiny and perfect to him. And it's fun to rediscover all those moments through Ishmael's experience, because it becomes very easy to remember how good a lot of us still have it in the world we see right now, you know. And I hope that somebody remembers that when they hear it, that, you know, that's things can get so much better if we just stop thinking about the little bits and pieces inside and just enjoy things for what they are, you know. And that's what Ishmael's about when he's in human form. He has a lot to think about as a dragon. Anyways, that wraps up our questions. So thank you so much, Lee. I'm so happy to have answered all you guys' questions. Let me get off this and back to what I'm doing. Oh my goodness. I just now realized I've been talking for 30 minutes. And that's fine. That's not a problem. But as we get through May, I'm going to ask you once again to please be kind to yourself. Don't be afraid to do something for you this month. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't feel the need to justify being good, because you're worth that, you know. And it gets hard sometimes, especially these past couple of years, to really feel like you should be thankful for what you have and enjoy yourself. But you're worth that, and know that you're brilliant, and that I really do need you guys to help me see where I'm going. I mean, not in like a, oh my god, I'm blind sort of sense. It's meant quite a bit to me, and I don't know if I can express how much I'm grateful to you, all of you. But stay brilliant, guys. Have a good May.